Can ADHD be managed without medications? What a good question. I'm asked this all the time. There's a ton that you can do. So, can you fix it? You got to understand ADHD isn't necessarily like this disease that you just turn the switch off. But when you support the body with the proper nutrition and habits that you need, then everything starts to click and the brain functions better. And then all that creativity that people get with ADHD and becomes a powerful tool to help move them forward. Some of the most brilliant people I've met have ADHD or ADD. And you're like, man, how are you so creative to think about a solution to that problem? How did you work that out and come all the way around here and come back and fix it where everybody else was in this box? And they're like, we can't figure this problem out. And that person comes around and fixes it. So ADHD brain can be very powerful as long as we learn how to control it and we're giving the brain the proper nutrition to help it focus. Totally possible, right? That person who's wondering, can this be possible? Yes, it's possible. Now, let's talk for a second about the person who still needs medication. Yes, there are some of those, but when you incorporate all of these other natural alternatives, the dependency for medication dramatically drops off. Some of my clients, they're just using microdosing on the medications that the doctor's given it, and they're doing excellent. They're not having all the side effects. So let's talk about side effects for a second. You could have anything from increased depression. You could have this real numb feeling where people just aren't enjoying life. They're just straightforward, unemotional. They're not experiencing the emotional highs and they're not experiencing the emotional lows. And emotional lows are important in some respects, helping us feel sad about certain events, help us behave in a different way that helps us to excel in others. We learn from bad times and we make lemonade out of lemons, so to speak. Some people sleep too much. Some people don't sleep enough. Sometimes your short-term memory is shot. And medications, while often in some circles, they're like, you should just medicate. I don't know why you're wasting your time. Just medicate. And that is not always the answer. ADHD existed a long time before we had all these medications, or when medications are coming out new, not a lot of people were using them anyways. And so how did we cope? There are negative ways of coping, which we want to avoid, and that's part of what we go over. Things to avoid, especially for children. Addictive drugs and alcohol, obviously, all are bad. Not have those in the environment if possible. There's a ton of things that people have done over the years, but we've got new science and new supplements, new to being, we know that now we can use them to help with ADHD. I've had a lot of people come in. What comes to mind is this couple that brought their twins in. They were both ADHD and they were both just completely scattered. And when we had them take care of their children, they changed a lot of things in their whole house. Not just the ADHD children improved, the whole family improved. And the adults were like cognitively feeling much better. So we got to ask ourselves, ADHD can have a hereditary event in there. These twins, when we took them off of red food dye and corrected their diet and went over these other strategies that we'll discuss later in these other videos, in a matter of a month, the school didn't want to send them home. Now they could go to school, progress with their grades, have their friends, have their social life, come home and enjoy life with their family because they weren't trying to do school again for another 4 hours to get them caught up. Not that we don't have homework. When you're trying to do homework and the whole day's work and you don't remember anything because your ADD or ADHD was throwing you out of a loop, that's a rough deal. So what if you're not sure? What if you got doubts? Can this really work? The answer is yes. Are you going to be like your neighbor? You're going to be, if you're a child, are you going to be like the child next to you in class? No, because you are you, and we're going to help you be the best you can be. And we should be okay with that, right? Not all of us fit into a mold. I didn't always fit into a mold, didn't necessarily have classic ADD, ADHD, but I have a child with ADHD, and we've been able to find ways that have made them so much happier. So join us for the next videos, and we'll help you find your way on your path with ADD or ADHD. Thanks for tuning in.